And after 41 days, a little bit of movement here. The Senate passed a bill Monday night to end the longest government shutdown in history. Of course, still not a done deal yet. North Central political science professor Stephen Caliendo joining us now to explain where we are and what happens next. Good morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning. It's good to see you.
Great to see you as well. I'm not sure if we're in great conditions right now with this tentative deal on the table. So, of course, I looked this morning over the 8 Democratic senators who kind of broke ranks. You know, one of them is an independent who caucuses with Democrats, but it looked like everyone else kind of just slowly came to the conclusion, hey, this isn't going to work out in our favor. Is that how you see it as well?
That is how I see it. I think progressive Democrats don't quite see it that way. They're pretty frustrated with those folks because they thought they were onto something and that they were leveraging lower prices for health care ultimately is what they wanted. But I think you're right, Anita. The idea was that if they waited another week, it wasn't going to look any better. If they waited another month, it wasn't going to look any better. And while they're waiting, all that waiting, real people were suffering and increasingly suffering as the weeks went on.
Absolutely. You have SNAP benefits that people have been waiting on that are in the court system, the flight situation going into now Thanksgiving, a holiday that's right around the corner. So, of course, this has to go to the House. And the House Speaker Johnson really isn't sounding like everything that maybe the senators are saying is going to happen is actually going to happen.
You know, they passed their bill a long time ago. They were happy with the one they passed. This looks a little bit different. Anytime that the House and the Senate pass bills that have differences, they have to be reconciled. This is going to come back to the House, and they're going to have to decide whether this is okay or not. But remember, more than that has happened since October 1st. You've had Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who have been very vocal about her frustration in particular with respect to health care costs. So she's siding with the Democrats certainly on this. Remember that Mike Johnson doesn't have a very large margin to work with in the House of Representatives. So if some Republicans peel off, there could be trouble in the House as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so in terms of a timeline, it seems like things, and maybe we thought all along, like the closer you get to a holiday, things are going to tighten up here, and maybe some movement will happen. Do you think that we're looking at this shutdown being over before Thanksgiving?
I think the way we're framing this, you and I, but also just the media generally are framing this today, that the shutdown's close to being over, is going to put a lot of pressure on the House of Representatives. Not only House Republicans, but House Democrats too. Some of them may cross over because, again, the context is different from when they voted last time. The House has not been in session since the shutdown began. And Anita, I think they've only been in session for 20 days out of the last 18 or 19 weeks. I mean, essentially, the House has been, it doesn't mean that they're not working. They're doing things for their constituents in their districts, et cetera. But they're not legislating. They haven't in a very long time. And that's of concern to a lot of people. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on all 435 House members when they finally do gavel back in later this week.
Yeah. And do you think that President Trump will ultimately see this as a win, that Republicans stuck together and refuse to budge?
President Trump sees everything as a win for him. He really has an amazing talent in figuring out ways to make things sound like he came out on top. Look, nobody wins when there's a government shutdown. I think both sides in their sober moments would acknowledge that. I think Democrats would say after the elections last week that they are riding pretty high, and that's why some progressive Democrats in particular are frustrated with those who crossed over in the Senate. And I think Republicans would say, look, they didn't really have to give much. All they did was promise a vote, and the White House promised to reverse some firings that happened earlier in the shutdown. So Republicans didn't seem to have to give much at all. And so I'm sure that the president will see this as a win.
Okay, all right. Well, here we go. We're still not done with it, of course, but much more to come on it. Thank you.
Good to see you, Anita. Have a good day.